Hey, welcome to another episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show, our ongoing miniseries where we break down key updates and design questions straight from the development of Shade Protocol. These episodes are built around the game's community engagement series, Devs Ask You or DAUs, where Kendall and the team not only show what's changing, but invite fans to shape the journey with them. Today's spotlight takes us away from weapons and mechanics and enemies and into something more personal. We're looking at one of Shade Protocol's key companions, Clayre, a bright, loving replica who represents one of the game's most important themes, hope. Be sure to follow us and Little Legendary on our socials and YouTube channel, and be sure to join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice directly with the dev team. Links to everything will be in the description down below, and with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time! Clayre isn't just there for emotional grounding, she also has a significance in the gameplay as well. She supports Zura and the player by researching and developing new technologies and enhancing whatever Zura brings back from the field. Could you, by any chance, within the scopes of non-spoiler territory, explain how Clayre's research system would work?
Yeah, I guess I could try. So, I'll keep it into the themes of Clayre and what she represents more than like mechanically how these things will implement the game.
Yeah.
So what happens is whenever you kind of start the game, and some of this like we will go over a little bit more at the point of the start of the game, like Zura has been we'll call it disabled, decommissioned, like pretty much in this state of being completely disabled, we'll call it, for many years. You've been just not you've been disabled, we'll call it that, right? And through that time, the character that has cared for you, that has pretty much guarded you, and imagine if you are in a coma, right? That's not literally what's happening here, but I just want to give an example. If you are in a coma, this is the person that sat with you every day, right? Sat with you, read your story, told you what's going on, like they believed you were there, right? So Clayre is that like character that is kind of charged with your care, and they love you in that way. They it's like I wouldn't say like a sister, but it's someone that just they cannot help but to care about you, and they want to know that you're okay, but they never thought you were coming back, right? So the fact that you're here also brings them an immeasurable amount of stress, right? Because you're not supposed to be here. We'll deal with all that later. So at that point, you have a character that has both those very, very drastically opposing views, which hope causes both. And now this character is like very, very concerned, right? Like they want what's best for you, but they also understand what you being awake represents. And it's a very difficult struggle to have. But through all the circumstances, what you'll see from Clayre is that she hasn't been idle. She has been in this incessant attempt to move the needle 1% forward towards the benefit of humanity, because she is like obsessed with them. Like I think this is the character that is pretty much I don't know how to represent her to people, but I would say like, if you met someone that knows every single unit of lore of like the Mega Man game, for example, and you've seen those people, which are great, but they're definitely like incredibly knowledgeable. This is the equivalent, but for humanity. She knows everything there is to know that can be found, and it's just that kind of character that looks at them as this, I don't know, like I wouldn't say divine, but it's like they're such a gift in her view, right? And for her, of course, humans are the creators of the replica, so she sees them as like more, right? So she doesn't perceive what maybe a faction like the Saviors might think, like we are the next thing, right? Replicas are the next step in like progression and evolution, whereas the way that Clayre would see it is like, the humans are the most wonderful thing to exist, and we must cherish and protect them. And if they are, and the day that they are gone, we will miss them dearly, right? That's the her view. So it's a very loving and I would say naive way of seeing the world, which is gorgeous. Right? We love that. So the her research includes so much that will help the player in a very material way. We I can understand how a lot of people seeing this might think like she's like a Navi kind of character, like hey,
Sure.
listen, like oh that's
Yeah.
not what we're doing here. We don't have that character, and she's not like constantly like pinging you. But it's definitely the kind of character that you will interact with, and will make sense for you to interact with. And she's incredibly capable in her expertise. She's also very, very, incredibly technical and has like a ton of knowledge that will have to be leveraged in order for you to progress the game. Um, but your decisions with managing her story will definitely have a lot to do with humanity, right? And as you uncover all the secrets, can is Claire's view of humanity going to evolve and become even more focused on their well-being, or is it going to eventually change to realize what we're truly capable of, for better or worse? That's kind of what we're faced with here.
Are
A
these
character
decisions
that
that us as Zora will be able to influence?
I
Like,
I believe so. I think like there's definitely going to be some of it that will um, be, I wouldn't call it linear, but of course there's certain moments that you will get to that will you will always get to see. But there will
interesting.
definitely be forks where we are. That's what we want to make. I mean,
Ah,
we're really excited about that. Being able to then fork into like, did we take this path or we take the other path? And not only like physically did we go left or right, but did we foundationally in terms of story made this choice or the other? And what does that do for a character like Clayre? And what consequences does that have in a character that their core belief system is that there is a way out, right? And then the way out includes humanity at all times. Like there's no alternative in her mind that this is the right choice. So when other characters don't believe that, or maybe they think that maybe the end justifies the means or things like that, the conflicts between them and Clayre will be something you'll have to deal with, right? And it's not like we're gonna have like a battle royale at all times between characters that are just disagreeing, but you will definitely have to leverage the fact that the the disagreements of your team will have a lot to do with maybe the choices you want to take. Maybe one of them
interesting.
wants you to go left and the other one wants you to go right. And maybe that's how you choose to go to the next area that you decide to explore non-linearly. And in that way, you're somehow choosing, what the core belief of that action is. So who knows, right? So, but yeah, it'll be something that won't be as easily evident to the player. We want it to be a little bit more nuanced, but definitely it should feel heavy. It should feel that there's weight to your actions, and that characters are learning how to deal with the consequence of it all in real time. And then their dialogue and the way you interact with them and what they do and how their story develops, which has real consequences and benefits, plays out.
I think we stumbled upon a very important little tidbit about the future of the game, and I am excited to explore that in a later episode. So before we end this, I think one of the most important questions I have for you about Clayre, what does Clayre mean to you? Not the player, but to you, Kendall, the creator.
Claire, for me, is such a difficult character to write that it represents a the type of challenge that I want to face as a creator, So from a technical perspective, starting there, I would say she's definitely like, imagine that you have like this, whenever I think about something like Dungeons and Dragons, like what I always think is like, I want to play a paladin that has, this issue where they are kind of naive and they're unable to, like, they take everyone at their word. So you can, lie to them and they will always believe you, for example. Like that's a really difficult archetype to play, right? So not only are you like lawful good and you have all these consequences for not following, whatever the documents of your deity or whatever, but you have the added problem of like you're gullible, right? So it's an incredibly difficult character to roleplay. I love whenever I'm thinking about character design, I love characters that are, their design is inherently difficult. It's easy to understand, but it's like very, very complicated in terms of how do you get that done right. But when somebody reads them, it's very easy to understand. Oh, that's why they're doing this, because you have more knowledge and you understand what's going on. So from a technical perspective, Clayre is just such a joy to work in because it just gives me that space to create a character that is not just like a happy-go-lucky, pretty character that just, will always be smiling at every point. But then from a perspective of, conceptually, what does Clayre mean to me? I think Clayre means to me, she is one of the most wonderful, loving ways to tell the player, you're special. You are truly special. You're magnificent because you are you. And that Clayre gets that across. Clayre will make you feel at some points kind of warm inside and like this sense of like, I love that there's someone that can see us as humans this way, right? This moment of seeing through all of it and choosing to believe that there's greatness in us. That is something that I feel we need more. For many reasons, for too many reasons. But our goal is to show that to players in a way that they will, it kind of will give you a smile here and there where you would say like, God, she's just so adorable. But at the same time, you will be able to see like, that will be an incredibly painful belief system to sustain. And I think that's part of what hopefully will build your care for her and your desire to, not let her down, but also, a lot of the bounds of conflict between her and the other characters. So in summary, for me, she is like, what if you had someone in your corner that always thought the best of you? What could you do if you believed them? That's Clayre. What if there was always someone that had your back, and no matter what, they will always like be able to like hold on to you through the worst, and kind of give you that warmth of belief. They will always think that you can do this, and there has to be a way, and no matter what, I'll be here. That's that sense of partnership of I guess the best word is care, is what I think Clayre is truly special and hopefully will be very memorable.
Clayre is more than a support character. She's a symbol of what Shade Protocol stands for. Her optimism, curiosity, and humanity help define the tone of the entire game. By blending emotional storytelling with mechanical purpose, she embodies the idea that compassion and progress can coexist, even in the darkest places. Shade Protocol continues to be shaped not just by its creators, but by its community. Whether it's refining how story is told or rethinking player immersion, every DAU opens the door to deeper collaboration. This has been another episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show. Want to help shape what Shade Protocol becomes? Join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice with the dev team directly. And if you like this breakdown, then stay tuned for more spotlights and interviews with Kendall right here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Remember, the future of Amiria is still being written. We'll catch you on the next one.